I'm going to start off with my most interesting question, if that's okay.
Do it up.
And it may seem strange because I'm focusing on one team. And the question is, can the Celtics finally win it all? And the reason this is my number one question is there's a couple reasons for it. One, as I've said several times, I'm not going to repeat myself. I think this team is basically, when healthy, like the perfect basketball team for the NBA. The way it's played right now and what you're required to do in terms of countering what other teams do, in terms of putting other teams at disadvantages. They have no weaknesses when they're healthy. Other than, I guess, you can, if you get them in a close game in the last 3-4 minutes, they can get a little bogged down because they don't have that true floor general. All due respect to Drew Holiday. But like, what true, quote unquote, true floor general exists in the NBA today that isn't also a somewhat of a defensive liability on the other end? I mean, I don't know, say Luka Doncic, who's not a great defender, but at least he's big. Like, there's not many of them. So they're really well assembled as I think anybody could reasonably expect a team to be, given the constraints of roster building. And their success over the last, I don't know where you want to start it, because we could start it when they drafted Smart. I'm choosing to look at it from when they drafted Jaylen Brown, because Jaylen Brown is the only player that's currently is the longest tenured player. So I think if you're looking at this version of the Celtics, even though they are like spiritually linked to the Smart teams, I think you can only go back as far as when the first player that's currently on the roster joined the roster. Mm-hmm. So that's Jaylen Brown. And this is year 7 for Jaylen Brown. So year 6 for Jason Tatum. I tried to look up because they've just played their 501st game since the first game of the Jaylen Brown era. So I tried to look up 500 game sample sizes over the last quarter century. So basically post Jordan, starting with the 99 season, and seeing has anyone had a better 500 games and not had at least one player from the team win a championship on the same roster. And I couldn't do it because I got through 1,400 teams sorting, and it's all iterations of the Spurs and Warriors over different various, and the Mavs actually, different 500 game stretches. So then I went and looked and said, okay, over that same time frame, so since 99, so post Jordan, teams where it's the same iteration of the team, more or less, or at least has a couple of connecting parts. Has any team ever had as many individually successful seasons as the Celtics in terms of winning percentage? How many of those teams have not won at all? And so here's what I found. So the Celtics have had 3 seasons since Brown got drafted where they have won at least 65% of their games. They are currently winning way more than that. So this would be the 4th, and I would suspect, barring insane bad injury luck, this will be the 4th time in 7 seasons that they win at least 65% of their games. Here are the teams that have done that over the last quarter century. At least 4 seasons, again, of the same stretch, winning at least 65% of their games, that did not win a championship. Actually, do you want to wager a guess? There are 2 teams that have done this 5 times and didn't win a championship.
Well, maybe you're good at math. What is 65% of 82?
I actually don't know off the top of my head. It's 50 something. I'll tell you right now. Maybe 50.
I just did the math. 53 wins. Okay. Hashtag 53 wins. So over a 5-year span have won an average.
It could be over a 10-year span, but it has to be the same basic core of the team over that stretch. Did it won at least basically I'm asking how many teams have had at least 4 seasons with some variation of the same core and didn't end up winning a championship.
And it's how many you're saying? It's how many
there's
total?
2 that did it 5 times, and there's another 2 that did it 4 times.
Okay, OKC.
Did it 5 times. The big 3 OKC era.
The Knicks?
No, since 99.
Oh, since 99. Since 99. Oh, that they've only won 54 once. The Suns.
The Steve Nash Suns.
Yeah.
And I'm counting as a 5th one that last one that like the kind of their last gasp.
2010.
Those are the 2 that did it 5. So now there are 2 other teams that if Boston won over 65% of their games this year and did not win a championship, and that would be their 4th time doing so. There are 2 other teams that have done it 4 times, again, in the last 25 years. Can you name them? One, I think you'd get if you thought hard about it enough. The other one is doesn't come to the tip of your tongue, but is obvious when you think about
it. So didn't win a title with and it's only 4, not 5 this time.
4 seasons, 53 or more wins, essentially. But I'm also I did the percentage because I wanted the shortened seasons to count as well.
Are we at the point where the Sixers are on there?
No, so the Sixers currently are in the midst of their 3rd season, winning at least 65% of their games. I did note them.
Okay. I think I can get this. Hold on.
One is like right at the beginning of the relevant time period, like at the very beginning of the relevant time period. So
the Kings?
99, the Kings. Yep.
Okay. So the Kings are the
4
first
times.
one.
And the other one's more recent. And well, see if you can get them.
So it's just one other team.
There's one other team that's done it 4 times, and then I have a couple teams that did it 3.
Now, adding Kawhi doesn't eliminate the Raptors.
Yeah, that eliminates the Raptors because they won with Lowry. They won with like Seattle.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Adding Kawhi would mean
yes, that eliminates the Raptors.
Okay, the Clippers then might have been
the Clippers. Team. The CP3 Clippers had 3 such seasons.
Okay. This is fun trivia. Okay. It's not OKC because I want to keep going. So it's not Phoenix. You said Phoenix. They're 4 already.
Said Phoenix. Said okay.
Dallas won a title.
So Dallas, I kind of cheated because Dallas had a ton of really, really big time seasons in the early part of the century, and then they eventually won it with Dirk and maybe one other player from that team. I didn't count them because the most important guy was still there, and so I eliminated them from this list. But if you really wanted to make the argument, they're on it too.
Yeah, Jason Terry is also on both of the 06 and the 2011 team. So
one other team, recent,
really,
pretty recent.
It's not the Bucks. It's not the Celtics.
No, those. No.
Well, we're talking about the Celtics now.
Okay.
All right, now you guys just tell me.
The Rockets with Harden.
Oh, duh. Yeah. They won 65 games one year.
Well, they won a lot of games in a lot of years.
Yeah, but that one year. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
You said the Clippers, and then the only other team that had 3 such seasons, and again, I kind of cheated with grouping one of the versions of this team with 2 other versions, is the very early century Pacers, who the 3rd such season, basically it was like Reggie playing a different kind of role. Austin Crozier was still on the team, but the big pieces had changed around. It was Ron Artest, it was Jermaine O'Neal, it was a couple other guys. So the reason I bring this up is I think if you think about, okay, who are
real quick,
the most
that Pacers team was derailed for a very different reason than other basketball reasons, I should say.
So we think of the greatest teams ever to win a championship post Jordan as Thunder, right? Steve Nash Suns. I would say the Kings. We don't think of the Harden teams that much. I want to get back to them in a second. And I think certainly the CP3 Clippers. Here's the thing, though. And this is what makes the Boston situation the most fascinating to me and why I asked the question specifically about them. The big 3 in Oklahoma City got bested by Steph Curry and LeBron James in their 2 closest chances. They also had some inopportune injury luck at the wrong time with in the playoffs. The Steve Nash Suns had to go through some incredible Spurs teams, some incredible Mavs teams.
And a suspension.
Thanks, David Stern. Mm-hmm. The Harden Rockets teams. God love them. They tried to beat the Warriors team that everybody said couldn't be beaten. And you know what? They almost did it. And that was the team in their way. The Kings went up against, obviously, the three-peat Lakers when they were at the peak of their powers. Who's the team that Boston has come up against that is in the same category as any of the teams that I've mentioned? Like, you look at the teams that have beaten them, like, okay, you want to give me the Warriors in the finals a couple years ago? That was not a great Warriors team.
No. We're seeing it now, how flawed that Warriors team was.
We're going to look back and be like, wait, hold on. In this era, with these fucking rosters, a team with Andrew Wiggins as the second most productive player in the finals won the championship? Excuse me? And like, they have not had to face that Goliath. And yet, they still have not been able to get over the top. And I would argue, based on that, if they can't win it this year, they go down. And even we could go back further. We could go back to the Knicks in the 90s, or the Jazz in the 90s, or the Blazers in the late 80s and early 90s. All those teams had to face Michael Jordan at one point or another. Like, I think this has a chance to go down, if they don't win a championship, as maybe not the most disappointing team of modern NBA history, but like, they're in the conversation.